There was some breaking news on Friday night that will have massive ripple effects across the entire landscape of accessibility to GLP-1 medication, specifically semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, but this will have broader impacts across the entire market. And we're going to talk about it tonight. This is a huge, huge deal. A huge, huge deal. We're going to get into it. Before we do, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button so that you can get notifications for when we upload new content here at On the Pen. Now, this whole article we dropped in the wee hours, so many of you probably missed it. But last night, Novo Holdings $16 billion acquisition of Catalent, basically the juggernaut in manufacturing medications for pharmaceutical companies and generics. This deal went through U.S. regulators, which is really, to me, absolutely astounding. So let's get into the news. Novo Holdings cleared the last regulatory hurdle in a $16.5 billion Catalent manufacturing acquisition, which will net Novo Nordisk, the makers of Ozempic and Wegovy, $11.5 billion in manufacturing sites. Now, not only manufacturing sites, but human capital, which is extremely, extremely important in this race to improve the manufacturing capacity of Novo Nordisk, not only for the current medications, but for the future medications. With expanded manufacturing capacity, Novo is strengthening its position in the market and bolstering its argument against compounded medications. See, this has huge impacts on their ability to make drugs currently. And as they argue with the FDA over the availability of their current medications, they're now reporting Wegovy and Ozempic to be commercially available. So this is a huge feather in their cap as they have that argument with the FDA. But despite these steps, the regulatory landscape for compounded semaglutide remains extremely murky, and that has some serious implications for patients. The deal gives Novo Nordisk control of 3 Catalent factories that will play a crucial role in producing semaglutide-based treatments, including new treatments on the horizon like CagriSema. This acquisition is a massive strategic win for Novo Nordisk as demand for semaglutide-based drugs continues to significantly outpace supply. With the expanded capacity, Novo Nordisk has already reported that its semaglutide products are now commercially available, signaling an end to the shortages that have plagued the market. However, the FDA has yet to officially remove semaglutide from its drug shortage list. This creates a gray area for compounded versions of the medications, which are currently allowed because of the shortage designation. Novo Nordisk's increased production could tip the regulatory balance, leading the FDA to take semaglutide off the shortage list and putting compounds at risk. Compounded semaglutide has proved a critical point of access for patients during the shortages and as an affordable alternative to branded medications. But this deal could hasten the decline of compounded GLP-1s for 2 reasons. The first reason is that Novo Nordisk's argument against compounding has been raging for a while now. They've long argued that compounded medications are unnecessary and lack proper oversight. With its increased manufacturing power, Novo is doubling down on this stance, claiming it can now meet market demand for branded products like Wegovy and Ozempic. Sort of one of the little pieces of color that I'll add to this is, as I was doing some research this past week, Novo Nordisk actually dropped a update with the FDA for Rybelsus, in which there is a redaction. They've basically petitioned the FDA to be able to make the semaglutide base for Rybelsus in a different manufacturing process. And as you'll know, it'll be interesting to see if we get more information on that, because they have come out strongly against the compounded version, saying that the compounded versions use a chemical process to manufacture semaglutide, and that's for scalability reasons. Whereas the Novo Nordisk versions of semaglutide are made from a recombinant process where they actually brew yeast. So it's like GLP-1 beer. They extract the proteins from that yeast, and that's how the branded version is made. But at the end of the day, chemically, molecularly, they come out the same. It'll be interesting to see if, to scale the larger doses of Rybelsus, that could be a reason that they're petitioning for a different manufacturing process. Will they move to a chemical-based manufacturing process for oral semaglutide after basically dumping on that version of compounds made by compounding pharmacies. While tirzepatide has already been removed from the FDA shortage list and is facing its own legal challenges, access to compounded tirzepatide hangs in the balance. If the FDA removes semaglutide from the list as well, compounded versions could face the same fate, cutting off an affordable option to patients. So what does this mean? Well, essentially for patients, Novo Nordisk's increased production capacity is both a blessing and a potential challenge. Expanded production should ease shortages of Wegovy, Ozempic, and the future drug CagriSema, which should make these medications more readily available at pharmacies. But for patients with robust insurance and the ability to pay out of pocket, this is a welcome development for them. But for people who rely on the more affordable alternatives, like compounded versions of semaglutide or tirzepatide, this could spell a huge change for them. Because as we know, the compounded versions can cost anywhere from $150 to $500 a month, wherever you're finding them, compared to the $1,600 for branded Wegovy. If compounded medications are no longer available to patients without strong insurance coverage, people are going to struggle. And my main concern is that people will ultimately end up moving to the gray market. So the broader implications here, I think, are very, very interesting, because I think what you see shaping up here is that Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly in obesity drugs are becoming Apple and Android, Walmart and Amazon, Visa, MasterCard, Coke, Pepsi, Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, right? So you're seeing this duopoly. And so the gobbling up of the manufacturing of Catalent, I cannot believe, honestly, cannot believe that U.S. regulators let this go untouched. Essentially, what they did is they just let their ability to interject in this acquisition expire. So far, I haven't seen any statements from the FDA. Basically, their timeline expired last night, and as soon as midnight on the East Coast hit, Novo Nordisk had a post going up on Twitter and all over the place saying, "Hey, U.S. regulators failed to act. Catalent is ours. We're moving forward with the acquisition." So I cannot believe that U.S. regulators, that the administration did not step in on this, because this is just another way to create a duopoly, which is only slightly better than a monopoly, right? I can't believe that they didn't step in on this. So what comes next for patients? The future of compounded semaglutide hinges on two key developments: the FDA's decision on semaglutide's shortage status and Novo Nordisk's ability to deliver on its promise of consistent supply. Until the FDA updates the master list on semaglutide, those medications remain a critical option and remain available, but their days may be numbered after this acquisition, because it's going to be hard for the FDA to look at the expansion of the capacity that Novo Nordisk will have and think that they won't be able to meet demand. So 95% of people relying on compounds will probably not even see this video, will not see this article, but this news has massive implications, and it's honestly a disturbing development for the people who are relying on accessibility, but also for just the in one fell swoop, the way that Novo Nordisk has sort of shifted the landscape of injectable medications and the industry at large. I cannot understate how surprised I am that U.S. regulators did not step in at all when it comes to this. So patients need to stay informed and continue to advocate for accessible treatments, whether it's pushing for expanded insurance coverage, fighting for savings programs, or raising awareness in the patient communities. The battle for equitable access is far from over here. So if you would consider liking, saving, and sharing this video with somebody who might find it helpful, you can check out this article and share that at onthepen.com. And our book dropped. So On the Pen book that we've been teasing for some time now is available on the Amazon Marketplace. It's going to be listed in the description of this video. Just click on that. But we are live with the book, Decoding GLP-1, a guide for friends and family of those on the pen. Please go and check that out. This is a labor of love. It's designed to be a book that you can pass on to your loved ones who you would just like to understand more about the medications that are changing your life and the journey of somebody living with obesity. I hope that it helps to mend relationships, that it opens the door to conversation and better understanding with the most important people in your life. That's my heart behind it. I hope you'll check it out. It's available on ebook and paperback copy right now. It's a couple little tweaks that I had to make overnight because somebody pointed out a couple little typos, but no big deal. I'm sure that people are enjoying this book already, and I hope that you will as well. So until next time, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thank you for sticking around on this news, kind of a wild day, right? But make sure you hit that like, save, and share button before we go. Subscribe, hit the bell notifications for next time. And until next time, can't wait to do it again. Thanks for being with me.